Hey, hey, y'all. I am so excited to introduce you to my new friend. Her name is Patty Brewton.
Hi.
Thanks for coming
I'm so
on.
happy to be here. It's so nice to meet you. I've
You
heard a lot about
too.
you.
Yeah, so we actually connected from our
I
hairstylist. If
know.
you
Shout
can't
out
tell, we have amazing
Kendra.
hair. Kendra, if you guys need a good hairstylist, shout out to Kendra. Love you, girl. So how did you even make it on here, by the way? Because you are doing literally everything right now. She has two little girls. We're going to get into all that, but she's about to start a 6-week challenge. We're also going to get into that. But first off, I want to start off with what you're doing and how you got started with fitness. Like,
Yeah.
what was your personal journey, even before kids, after kids? Tell me all the things because we're
Okay.
both fit moms. And I know it can be hard to navigate because I did it myself. I have 3 kids, and yours are still pretty young.
They
So
are.
start off a little bit about your story and background.
I have always been into fitness my whole life. My dad was in the military and he has just always been a really big inspiration to me, somebody who played baseball and wrestled in college and just always made sure our family was really active growing up. I
And
grew up
you were an athlete.
and
Let's not skip that
yeah,
story. I know you're
I
going
was
to
an
get into
athlete.
it.
I grew up swimming. That was my main sport. I also ran
Guys, she
track
was a
and did soccer.
D1 swimmer. Like, she's not just an athlete.
I think my favorite claim to fame, everybody, I grew up in Baltimore and I grew up swimming with Michael Phelps and all of the greats that
What?
came out of North Baltimore Aquatic Club.
I
Um,
didn't know this, guys.
yeah, it was really fun. We had
That's
such great
amazing.
times. I swam in college at James Madison, D1 swimmer. I swam for my first 2 years, and then my junior year, I decided I wanted to study abroad and see the world, and decided to put my fitness on the back seat. But swimming shaped me. It made me who I am. It helped me become, the dedicated athlete that I am today. But just learned so much from my coaches over the years, and
Yeah, it builds a certain
it
mentality.
does. And just the sport requires such a level of dedication in terms of, swimming practices before school in the
Yeah.
morning and in high
Discipline,
school.
dedication that you're still
Yeah.
clearly doing. Guys, she's in absolutely amazing shape, regardless of having kids or not. She proves, like all of us, you could stay in shape no matter what. And she's also a
Yeah.
fitness trainer
But I will
herself.
say, like, there are times, like, I have 2 kids. My daughters are 6 and 9, and there was a big period of my life where I was struggling
Yeah, you were telling me
because,
about this earlier.
yeah, I mean, I think that I met my husband at a marathon. Like, we've been athletes. We were athletes together. We ran marathons together. We did CrossFit together, and then all of a sudden you're thrust into motherhood and your
You
life is
lose
not your
yourself a
own. You
little
lose
bit, and then you
yourself.
feel guilty spending time on yourself.
Yes. And I think that was the hardest thing for me is, not recognizing the woman in the mirror, but also not recognizing the woman who was showing up in the world because I didn't have that
Internally.
outlet
Yep.
for myself, being able to exert myself and push myself in that way. I was doing it in a different way and I needed the physical output from that strength training now gives me. And so it was a struggle for me. My kids are 3 years apart. So I will say, like, I got back into CrossFit after having my first daughter, Margot. Was doing CrossFit all the way up until the day I gave birth with her.
The day?
The day
So did
she
you
was
like
born,
break your water on the floor or
kind
what?
of, sort of.
Okay, I
But,
need
like,
to hear the story.
I went to CrossFit that morning.
What?
She was almost 4 weeks early. So, like, I did not expect
Oh,
her to come that
yeah.
day.
So she wasn't
No,
like
I wasn't
being
like
a bad mom or
no,
anything.
no.
She
I
didn't
went to
know.
CrossFit that day, and
Cleared
granted,
by the
like, I
doctor,
was,
totally
I
fine.
totally, and I had been doing CrossFit before this,
So,
so I
like
was
me,
fine.
were you like kind of slowing down your workouts and you wouldn't do certain
Yeah, of course,
movements?
I was scaling. Like, I was doing wall sits while everybody else was doing wall balls. Like, I was
Okay.
definitely like scaling
Yeah.
back.
I
But I
mean, I don't
remember,
doubt you knew what you were doing. You're being safe about it. But I was just like trying to get in
yeah.
my mind.
But I
that
was
you said
living
you're
in New
throwing
York.
up all
I
this
was
weight.
living in New York City, and the best part about this story is, like, this was 2016. It was November, so we were living in New York City. It was marathon weekend, so it was a wild weekend. And David and I had walked to CrossFit. We did CrossFit. We walked home, and then later that day, we had our hospital tour. And it was such a beautiful day in Manhattan in November. So we were like, let's walk down to the hospital, which is about 20 blocks. So we walk to the hospital, we do the hospital tour, we're
9 months
walking back.
pregnant.
I'm 9 months pregnant. And I'm like, I think I need to stop because thought I was having Braxton Hicks contractions.
Yeah.
because I had been having them for a while. Well, turns out they were real contractions because about a couple hours later, my water broke. And we went to the hospital.
Where did it break, though?
In my house, thank God.
Oh, okay. Not like on the street,
house,
walking in the streets of New York.
In my house, and
But it was probably instigated by your workout earlier,
probably.
too, which is, it's fine.
It was great. Yeah.
4 months, she's still like breathing on her own, didn't have it.
3 weeks, 3.5 weeks,
okay.
not months.
But still
but
safe zone,
safe
I think.
zone,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, we were good. But, had Margot. Everything was great. She's healthy and continued to work out. I feel like after my first child, I got back into working out, but it just wasn't the same. My body wasn't responding the same. Ended up having a second daughter. And that was where I felt like I did not bounce back as fast with the second.
So when you say your body wasn't responding the same, what does that look and feel like to you? Was it more mental and like you didn't see yourself like snapping back into shape faster? Was your energy, obviously your energy was nothing because you
I think that was a big part of it.
Like, what does that feel like and what did it look like for you?
For me, it was just, my body was different. And while I feel like I was weight-wise the same weight, the composition of your body is just
your
different.
Lean muscle wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you really even got stretch marks or anything, right?
I didn't, thank God. I'm so grateful for
so
that.
it's not that sort of thing. I know, and we don't like to brag about that because a lot of women do deal with that. And it's so sad because there's really no way around it. If
there's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. But I was very lucky in that I had a safe pregnancy. I had a safe delivery. And, I was fine and the baby was fine. But I think your time is not your own once you have babies. And I was in corporate America. I was working a job, like living in the city. And, I just didn't, the time that I had for working out was now dedicated to my daughter. And I was grateful that we lived in a building that had an Equinox in it. And so I would make the time to go work out in the building. I would make the time to go to CrossFit again once I was cleared to work out. But my dedication wasn't there anymore in terms of putting my effort into it. Also, I think looking back now, what I could have done differently was nutrition. And I don't think I was paying attention to my nutrition in the way I do now. I think that would have made a huge difference for me.
Which is so funny because I guarantee if we look back at pictures of you, we're so hard on ourselves.
We are, of course.
You probably were like pretty much like exactly in the same shape, but mentally like not perfected, like the little pound here, pound there, or like the bloating or whatever.
I look back, and you say bloating, I think I look back at photos, between my daughters and like before and after pregnancy, and I see the inflammation. I see, the puffy eyes,
stress,
the puffy face,
sleep,
and because you're lacking sleep, and there's really nothing you can do about that
like
throughout
you said,
motherhood.
There's just, you don't have enough hours in the day. You're spending all of your precious hours, rightfully so, on your children. So maybe you're not meal prepping. You're not like,
no.
You're
like I was living in New York
eating
City.
Whatever your kids are eating.
I was going out. I was,
basically what I'm
eating
getting at is you got to
food.
give yourself grace, right?
Thank you.
Women, like if you still have young children, give yourself some grace. Give your body some grace. You made two little miracle babies,
Yeah.
But so tell me a little bit about like how your fitness career started.
Yeah. So I was in the corporate world for many years. I was in leadership development, working for, big corporations, working for startups, in sales, on the same path in like the human resources aspect. Loved what I did. But I think, as an athlete my whole life, I've always thought that this is where I wanted to end up. And so I turned 40 last year, about a year ago, because my birthday was last week. And
You turned 40 literally last week?
No, 41 last week.
Okay.
So when I turned 40 that year, I was like, I think I want to pursue this full time. I think I want to dive into helping women find themselves. And I have
just jumping into it, girl. You're like successful.
Thank you.
You're doing really good.
But it's been, over the course of my own journey, my friends and my family have seen how it's affected me, and they've asked me questions. And so I would say over the course of since 2020, when I had my own transformation after I had my second daughter, I've kept my postpartum weight off since then. I have grown muscle. I have changed my body composition in immense ways, and that has been very apparent.
Feel so good when you feel like you're in the best shape of your life in your 40s.
100%.
Right?
I think that my favorite thing is when I, the Instagram famous thing right now is like, I'm a mom. You're a mom? What? You're a mom? Like, yeah, my oldest kid is 9. Like, I feel so proud of that
Oh
because
yeah.
I
And I
look,
don't mean that in a bragatory way.
no,
I'm just like, it feels so good to helpfully inspire other women that
yes.
you could feel your best at 40. You
And
could feel your
I'm
best as
working
a
out
mom.
less. I'm eating more. I'm doing all these things that so many women think would take them in the opposite direction. And that's what I'm so passionate about now. So how can I help the most women possible understand that they don't have to be living
You don't have to
in a
break your
calorie
body.
deficit. You don't have to be
Yes.
doing, F45 and Orange Theory to lose
No
weight.
sugar, no carbs, 30-day,
All
whole
those things.
30 is like, oh.
No. And I think that's like, I eat carbs. I love carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. And how can you live in a balanced way? Like what we talked about earlier is how do you balance your life, balance your family, and look hot doing it? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say I want to look hot in a bathing
Of
suit. I
course.
want to be hot for me.
wanna look
I
good
want to be hot for
naked.
my husband.
Yeah.
Like, I want
Well,
to be healthy for my kids. I
the-
want to live a long time.
Yes. I think one thing we forget is that women's confidence is directly tied to how we feel about our bodies.
Yes.
We're not going to go for the job. We're not going to get in the bikini.
Yes.
We're not going to want to be intimate with our partner. We're going to hide from ourselves when we don't feel our best. Now, that's an internal and external situation. So if we could do things that give us more confidence, then therefore we just feel better mentally.
Absolutely.
And I
agree
think
with
what you were
more.
saying about feeling your best at like 40, it's not just, you're doing the right things. It's that you've had the experience and the life experience. You've done, this doesn't work, this works. And you've learned along the way. And now you kind of perfected and we figured it out. Like, oh yeah, strength training's like we were talking about. Strength training, where's that? We don't do as much cardio. We don't do as much of the classes.
I know.
We do progressive overload. We know what to do. We're not afraid of the weights. We're not afraid to eat calories.
Yep. I think my clients are terrified at first. They're like, are you going to make me like die in the gym? And I'm
Me
like,
too.
actually, no. I think it's going to be completely opposite. I think you're going to be
I'm
like,
a
oh,
good
that
trainer.
wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you'll feel it tomorrow. I promise.
Yeah. No, but like a good trainer doesn't kill them on the first
No,
week. Like that
no.
doesn't make any sense. Yeah, no, you go to their fitness level, but especially with the nutrition too, it's like we were talking about, a lot of women are doing the opposite of what actually works. Like biggest tip, like we were both talking about as trainers, is they come into us and they're like, I have extra fat and I don't have enough muscle tone. So what is the first two things they think? Massive calorie deficit. It's actually not a calorie deficit. It's more like starving themselves. It's 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they do tons of cardio because they think fat, cellulite, and you get rid of it. The biggest thing you need to do is build muscle.
Eat more.
Yeah.
And lift more.
And you got to feed your muscle, not just eat calories, but eat quality calories to build muscle.
Yes.
And it's the scary part. And it's sad because women just think, I just want to see the scale lower, but really their body's in starvation mode. So big tips right there. Like listen to your trainers that know what they're doing. You need to build muscle that gets rid of the cellulite and honestly, makes your metabolism go through the roof when
your
you got this
energy.
lean
I mean,
muscle.
that's the other thing is like so many women come to me, they're like, I'm so tired. I don't even have the energy to work out.
That is one of the top things, other than how they feel about their bodies, is energy. So let's segue into what we were kind of discussing earlier, hormones.
Yeah.
So you had kind of an experience quite like my own. You figured out that your hormones were pretty low.
Yeah, I would say I was still in corporate America, probably 2.5 years ago now. I was still working a full-time job, and I was just noticing severe brain fog. Like, I mean, at this point, my daughter's not a newborn. Like, I didn't have the postpartum. It was not postpartum anymore, right? Like, so many moms talk about mom brain, brain fog, all of this.
Yeah, when your kids are little, you're not getting
and
sleep.
It's a real thing.
Yes, no, it
and
is.
it sticks around way
it's
longer
like pregnancy
than
and then the first 3 years of their life because you have no energy and you're tired and you're not getting sleep. But after that, you're like,
but it stuck
this
around.
Is not normal.
It stuck around for me longer than I expected. And then I felt like it was coming back and there was no reason for it to be coming back. And so, of course, I had my labs drawn. And I will say, that was a struggle for me because when I went to my normal doctor, had my labs drawn, they were like, everything's normal. Well, what does that mean? Normal. You're in the normal low range. That's not optimal and not working. So of course I found somebody else. I had my full hormone panel done. And right away, they were like, your testosterone is basically non-existent. And for people, when you say that, if you don't understand why you need testosterone, first off, women need testosterone and you need more than what you think. And I was so low on that scale that was causing the brain fog. That was causing me to be really forgetful. Like I felt like if I didn't have some sort of digital assistant or taking notes, if I didn't write it down, it was in my brain and gone in a second. And for somebody like me who has always had a really great memory and, you know, I'm known to be a connector. I remember names. I remember like, you know, certain things. I felt like I was like, what is wrong with my brain? And I was exhausted.
Well, good for you for being an advocate for yourself too, and not just accepting what one person
tells you. And I think that's what I tell my
you.
clients now is that don't just accept normal, get a second opinion. If you are feeling any sort of way, especially if you are, you know, in the perimenopausal range, like if you're in your 30s, if you're approaching 40, if you're in your 40s, for sure you need to get your labs checked.
Do not accept that feeling like crap is normal.
It's not. It's not normal.
It's not.
And unfortunately, there are just not enough, you know, mainstream ways for women to, you know, have hormone replacement therapy.
Yes.
It is still very
and honestly, it's
hard to
kind of
talk
dangerous
about
sometimes. Like with Optimize, the best part that I like is that we get the quarterly lab draws and the telehealth visit, so that it kind of makes you stay on top of your hormones.
Yeah,
and it's obviously necessary, but most of these clinics, other than us, kind of just throw a number at you when it comes to like, here, take this amount of estrogen, this amount of testosterone. It needs to be specialized and customized for you and your levels.
Yeah. And monitored regularly. It's you can't just like set it and forget it. You need to look at your labs, and that's the process I'm going through now too.
Hormones are the baseline for everything. Your hair, skin, and nails, your energy, your metabolism, your mental health, your clarity, your sleep. These are things that are debilitating for people. And just like you, my hormone levels were absolutely like zero.
Ugh.
And we're so young. 41,
well, and you
42.
look physically fit, right? So I think that's the other thing. There's so many women and so many women that talk about this
off and be like, oh, it's just...
well, you look great. You're fine. No, I know I look great. That's not the problem. I feel like horrible and I can't remember anything, and don't dismiss me for telling you these things.
And the difference between us, or maybe some people too, is like we're so in tune with our bodies because we spend so much time focusing on our health that like, when I was having all my gut problems and I had doctors the same thing, you're fine, take a probiotic. I'm like, no, there is something going on.
Yeah.
Oh, you're having constipation, take this prescription. I'm like, no, what is the underlying cause? So you have to be your own advocate sometimes.
Absolutely.
But with the hormones, it's like so many women don't even realize that those symptoms are correlated to their hormones too.
Right.
That's the sad part. I thought that mine were because my gut wasn't doing well. I had zero energy, which I have, if anyone knows me, I have too much energy. Like, I'm not allowed to have more than like 2 cups of coffee a day. Like, I will not be easy to sit by. I'll be very annoying. So when I felt my energy crashes, I thought it was my gut, but I got my hormones checked through Optimize, and I realized, just like you, all of my hormones were nothing at 42 years old.
And I feel now that I've been taking, you know, the tiniest amount, and it's not even a lot. It's like a tiny amount of testosterone once a week. I wear an estrogen patch and I take progesterone every night, and I feel so much better. I look so much better. My body responds better to my training. It responds better to food and all of these things. And so many women, especially women that are in our age range, are suffering silently and not talking about it.
They keep cutting the calories. They keep exercising and doing all the things. And they just feel miserable. And they're like, why is my body not responding? And honestly, as lean as I am, just like you, like I noticed my metabolism was slowing down.
Same.
And people would think I was crazy saying that, but I know my body. And I was like, something's going on. And I just got my hormones checked and realized, but you're right, testosterone is very essential for women. It's for muscle building, it's for metabolism. Honestly, the one thing that's kind of crazy about testosterone too, I am on a low doses of all those too, is it really truly affects your confidence. And I didn't really know that until I started researching more. And then I started realizing a lot of my kind of symptoms were correlated to it. You know, progesterone has to do with sleep. And it's very interesting. Estrogen, you hold a lot more water. And for women, like I tell my clients, don't even get on the scale, because whether it's poop or water, man, you're going to go up a few pounds all the time, especially with our cycles and all these things. And
well, it's interesting you say that, because I actually tell my clients the opposite. I say weigh yourself every day, because then you kind of have you understand your body. Like for me, you know, when you have your cycle, I know my weight fluctuates by 5 pounds. If I only got on the scale once a week and it happened to be the day that I was up 5 pounds, that would historically have sent me into a spiral.
And so that's why I tell them not to do that, which, you know, there's no one way to do anything, but just for me mentally, especially doing the bodybuilding shows, it really messed with my head afterwards, because even at 40 years old, like it creates body dysmorphia. You're never going to be the exact same. You're on stage and you shouldn't. It's not healthy. And it sounds crazy because I'm still very lean, but you know, we're all crazy as women. We always beat ourselves up. But when it comes to, you know, the scale, I just think it's so much easier to see how you feel in your clothes. I always say you could take pictures, because they don't lie very much. We still say mean things about ourselves if we look at our pictures,
measurements,
but definitely the way you feel in your clothes. But hormones really affect inflammation and the water retention, and that alone can make the scale go up a few pounds. So
and that's what I tell my clients as well. I agree. It's like, you just have to understand that it's not body fat. And if you can understand that the weight fluctuations on the scale are exactly that, they're weight fluctuations, they're not fat fluctuations, that's where I found that I can kind of disassociate from the number on the scale, knowing that it is because I had maybe sushi the night before and I had sodium, and that makes your body hold on to more water, or I had a really hard lift the day before. I did leg day.
Cortisol's up.
Your body will, your muscles are inflamed. They're pulling in water, which is what they should be doing. That's what creatine does. Like it's like, you know.
Let's talk about what no one wants to talk about. Poop. It weighs something.
For sure. I mean, you know, I have clients now, they're like, oh, I've been so, you know, backed up the last couple days. And I was like, well, that is why. You're like, that is why. Like, don't judge yourself. It's not fat. It is
and I think
food volume.
I think the top 3 things that almost every woman deals with is anxiety kind of issues. We do a lot of overthinking that causes a lot of cortisol and our heads spinning, and we beat ourselves up, like I said. Number 2, a lot of women deal with constipation, and we normalize it. We think it's okay. I don't know how many clients I've talked to, and they're like, I only go every other day or every 3 days. I'm like, that is not normal.
It's not normal.
We need to figure out what's going on, or you need to.
Yeah, and all of this, guess what? All of this creates stress. Yes! And what do you think that does? That makes your body.
You're not eliminating toxins are sitting in your body. It's just, it's your body's not working optimally. So, and then the top thing is, because we have so much anxiety and we overthink, then our gut slows down. And then we get gut issues and we get the constipation. So it all correlates with each other. And when your gut's off, everything's off. And the only reason why I know this is because I had gut issues for 8 years and I'm still healing. But that's how I got into peptides. I started taking the oral BPC KPV, and it was absolutely life-changing for me. Like, it was the first time in my life, or in 8 years, I'm sorry, that I felt like I could start eating more normally, and I didn't bloat and have like an immune response every time. And it's because it was healing the inflammation in my gut.
It's amazing.
And my mind was blown.
Yeah.
And I was like, Team Optima, I was like, get
I
me
know.
on every peptide.
I know. You and I were talking about this earlier. I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing.
And that's what I was going to ask you, is like, you haven't really started peptides.
I haven't.
You already look amazing.
Thank you.
But there's so many other positives to start.
But I think because, so I would say probably for you too, I think for me, my whole contention the past couple of years is I need to get my hormones in order.
And you're smart, yes.
And with my doctor, like, I'm going and doing another lab panel here in the next 2 months, just because I've added in the estradiol patch recently. And so we want to make sure like all of those numbers are right before I add anything else in. But we're talking about peptides. I'm talking about peptides with you today. Of like, what, it's not about, I think for me as somebody who is not a doctor, right? Like, I can't prescribe these to my clients, but I am very educated on what are people doing these days to optimize their health. And first you need to be doing the basics. We need to lay the foundation. We need to be strength training. We need to be eating protein. We need to be hydrating. We need to be sleeping, ladies. We need to be sleeping.
And that's when hormones come in.
And we need to rest and recover. And that's once you're doing all of those things, then we think, what can we stack on top of that? And that's where these peptides are coming in. And that's where I'm curious to learn more about how to optimize my own health and optimize my own journey and make sure that I am, it's not that I'm training for something or training for that, but I want to live a long life. I'm a mom. I have 2 young kids and I feel wonderful. How can I feel even better?
Well, 2 things. I say, I want to feel superhuman.
Yeah, I love that.
We are living in a day and age where it is absolutely amazing. I wanted to cuss there so bad because I'm so passionate about this. I'm trying to be good. But I want to be superhuman. And the second thing is I always say is I don't want to just live a long life. I want to live a very full life. A very full life to me is living and feeling my best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to live till I'm 89 years old, but I want to feel like I'm like 65.
Right.
You know?
And I think that's what we're seeing these days is
it's not just taking the peptides. It's not just doing the hormones. It's doing the nutrition. There's no Band-Aid for anything, but these things are going to make your experience that much better because you're going to feel better and all of your hard work is going to show even better.
Yeah. And that's what I talk about with my clients is like, okay, as soon as you are doing all of these things first, then yes, we can totally explore options of
everyone's quick fix.
Yeah.
Quick fix.
There is no quick fix for longevity. Like you have to be doing the basics. You have to be working hard. And just like what you said to me when you met me the other like earlier today, it's like, you can tell when somebody shows up that they take care of their body. Oh, yeah. Like you have to be doing the right things. You didn't have to tell me that you don't drink regularly. Like I already knew that. I know that because you're in incredible shape, and that doesn't happen for someone that throws it away on empty calories.
It's totally different. I'm an addict. I can't even drink one. But like,
it's a conversation I have with so many of my clients, and I have with myself, honestly, because I do like to drink. But you will never find me binge drinking every night. Like I am just not that person anymore. That's why we know
the difference between you and others is you're not just doing this for vanity.
No.
Clearly you're doing it for health.
Yeah.
And honestly, the older you get, the more you realize, kids, that it's just as important. Yeah. Looking good naked and feeling good.
I love that.
And caring about your health.
It's true. These shortcuts, but like it was my birthday last week. I went to a fabulous dinner. You can bet I had a cocktail and a glass of wine, but I'm not having 7. I'm not, rolling myself out of there, but I'm enjoying myself and I'd
much rather eat the calories. What is wrong with people?
I definitely had the chocolate souffle.
Once again, I don't drink. I've been sober like almost 20 years. No. But like, I just, what? Like it's when people ask me if I drink my protein, I'm like, what? No, I eat it.
But people ask me, it's people ask me because I think people are also worried that like in order to look like us, you have to give up so much. And I think that's where
Which is something I preach daily.
Yeah.
I wake up and eat a piece of chocolate every single morning at 4:45 in the morning.
I love that you do that in the morning.
And then the next thing I probably eat is I have these protein treats and they're like sweet. And like it's like you don't have to give up your favorite things. I am a sweets addict.
Well, and you're going to shoot yourself in the foot if you do. And there are so many people who are all or nothing.
It. I'm just like,
you can't have an all or nothing mindset. You're not going to last. I think about this is a great question. What was the first diet you ever did?
Oh my gosh.
Because I know we've done them all.
So when I first got sober, like you need something to control and obsess over. So of course I went crazy with the workouts, working out way too much, but I went into the really restrictive diet. Sugar-free, fat-free, and like not enough calories.
How long did you do that for?
Not very long.
Like for me, I remember leading up to my wedding. I mean, it was not the first diet I ever went on, but it's the one I remember the most. I was like, I'm going to be paleo. And I was doing CrossFit, so it tracked, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm paleo, but on the weekends, I'm going to have a pizza. And like on the weekends, I'm going to drink. And so I think paleo was such an excuse for me to be like, okay, I can eat as many nuts as I want because it's from the earth. I can eat as many sweet potatoes because that's the only carb I could have. And I just was like, everything was not sustainable.
That's what I was just going to say.
So
the biggest factor is it is a diet, but if you cannot sustain it,
you cannot maintain it. Exactly. That's a great way to say it. And
But
that's
like,
what I
sit there
tell
and
my
really
clients
think
now.
about that. If you can't keep it up,
if you can't keep it up,
it is
then there's
not
no point in doing
sustainable,
it.
and therefore your results are not sustainable.
Exactly.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, she is a trainer. She understands. She gets it. I want to talk a little bit more because we could literally just sit here all day.
I know. I love it.
And I love that we like literally just met.
I know.
We're just like,
Thank you,
I already
Kendra.
knew this was going to happen. You're adorable. I want to talk a little bit more about your online program because you have a 6-week.
It's 8 weeks. So
8
we're doing
weeks. Okay,
8
I'm
weeks.
sorry.
That's
Yeah.
okay. 8 weeks to summer. It's called Hot as a Habit. So I just
like
launched registration yesterday. We're going to start on March 30th. So then we'll have 8 weeks till Memorial Day weekend. It's a strength training and habits and nutrition challenge. And basically in the app, I have an app as well called All A. It means let's go in French. And it's a nod to the time that my husband and I spent living in Switzerland and being in that athletic community. And instead of saying let's go when we're working out, everybody would yell Allez, Allez. And so it's just very fitting.
I love this.
I know, it's great. But it's called the Allez app, and it's 5 days of strength training a week, all progressive overload. So you're doing the same exact workouts every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then also during the week, you'll have cardio in there, usually zone 2 cardio, a couple sprints thrown in, nutrition. We're gonna track our macros, ladies.
This sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Like you don't have to think about anything. Everything's
Exactly.
all set up
Everything
for
is
you.
in there for you. There's demos.
And I know it's going to work because progressive overload, and clearly she looks absolutely amazing. But it sounds fun too.
It's fun. And what I really love about this particular challenge is each week there are educational videos that are in there with me coaching you on the theme of the week. So we have everything.
People motivated because they see
keeps
your pretty face and you're talking to them.
Thanks.
And you're giving them all the pointers, and I love that because I think
and a community of women doing it together, which is the biggest thing. Is like I want people to do it and understand that like just because you miss a workout, that doesn't mean you're failing. That doesn't mean you're out of the challenge. Like everybody has things happen. You just get back on the next day.
Yeah.
What I tell my one-on-one coaching clients is like, we just don't want to miss 2 days in a row. You know, it's like you want to make sure that you get back on the wagon the next day. When I say 2 days in a row, I don't mean like physically working out 2 days in a row. I mean, if you have a meal, if it's your birthday, that's great. You ate those calories, you drink your water, and you move on.
Yes, you have to learn how to navigate this in your own life.
Yeah.
If you think that we don't have chocolate and pizza everywhere,
I have it way too often.
No, but like it's just balance. And like I also like what you said about like if you don't show up that one, it's okay. You can start over, get back on, and that's reality.
It is reality. So many people think, oh, well, I can't do this challenge because I have a vacation coming up. I'm like, no. That's even more reason for you to be doing this challenge because it's going to teach you how to live your life like a normal human being. Mm-hmm. If you have a trip, I'm going to teach you how to navigate the trip. If you have a dinner out, I'm going to teach you how to order off of a menu without blowing your whole calories for the day.
I love it. It sounds livable.
It is, and that's the idea. So each week there's a theme. You know, first week we're all about let's get our macros in order. Let's figure out, do you want to track macros for this challenge? If you do,
I love that. You're giving them an option.
This is how we're going to do it. And you know, how much protein are we going to be getting? And your goal of the first week is to track your protein for 3 days. So it's also attainable, and
it kind of seems like baby steps too.
Well, that's exactly what I was just about to say is my background is in leadership development. And so I'm very much into behavior change and habits. And how do we create these small little things that we can do on a daily basis that will overall turn you into this person that you want to be? So how can you set yourself up for success? It's not to try to do everything all day, all at once. It's to do the small things that eventually become a habit. And it takes a long time to establish a habit. So what are we doing over the next 8 weeks to really make it easy for you?
To these people. Honestly, it truly sounds like you're doing this because you really love it and you're so passionate about it. This isn't just like a career. Like, I'm just doing this to make money. So I can tell like you actually understand it and you want these people to be successful. So I think it's going to be great, guys.
Thank you.
To definitely check it out. So if we wanted to get a hold of you, tell us all your socials. Tell us how to figure out how to get on your challenge.
Yeah. Yes. So social media, Instagram and TikTok. Instagram is my main form at patty.brewton. The link to join the challenge is in my bio. The past 3 posts have all been about the challenge because it just launched yesterday. So you can get the link right in my bio. the Hot is a Habit Challenge. And as well, I have an app. I also have a subscription to my app. So if you don't want to do the challenge, if you want to hop in the app and check it out, you can do a 7-day free trial. That link is also in my bio. Everything in the app has progressive overload programming. So you're going to get the same types of programming you'd get as a one-on-one in-person client with me. I have macro education videos in there. I have recipes in there. There's a community feature so you can interact with all the women that are in the app.
Oh, that's so fun.
And with me. So it's even better.
So also if someone wants to like just message you through Instagram.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I respond to all
them?
my DMs and would love to hear from anybody that wants to chat or ask me any questions about anything you guys hear today.
Well, we're definitely going to have you back on, but I want to ask you some questions. What do your daughters think about how amazing and strong their mommy is? And seeing you do all this and be successful and be an entrepreneur and like starting your entrepreneur like journey at 40?
Yeah. Oh,
I love it.
You're gonna make me cry. I'm like not even like they are so proud.
I love
And
that.
it's it's fun. I know. I'm like, I don't get emotional a lot. The Lexapro really helps. Oh my God. No, I feel like we have a home gym. We have a garage and
you're so sweet.
My girls are both really athletic. They love gymnastics and swimming and, lacrosse and all the sports. And, every day when we go to practice or I pick them up, they're like, Mommy, look at my muscles. Do you think I got stronger? Are they big like yours yet? And it makes me so happy. And they know how important it is to fuel their bodies. And I think a lot of women get nervous around macros because it's like, okay, I need you to get a food scale. I need you to weigh your food. And they immediately go to, that could be really devastating to me and stressful to me. I don't want to hop into bad habits. And I'm like, let's reframe it. When I get a food scale out in front of my young daughters who are obviously very impressionable, it's about mommy's making sure I'm eating enough protein so I get big and strong.
Yes.
And so like it's often, let's make sure we put enough protein on your plate so that you're getting big and strong too. And when my daughters help me pack their lunches in the morning and their snacks for camps, this week is spring break, they're like, Mommy, I made sure to pack my chopstick. I got my protein. Yeah. And it's like, I am just so proud that they know those things at such young ages.
You might get a food scale just because you're trying to just educate yourself on how much we're eating, but they're not seeing you eat this much. Like you're eating volume.
Oh, they're seeing me eating
Yeah. Like we're not starving ourselves. So like that's the other thing to think about. Like when I say that I have a food scale too, but it's like I also bake. You gotta use the food scale.
It's true. People don't realize that measuring cups are not the way to go. You got to weigh it in grams.
Yeah, grams is the way to go, especially for baking. That was really hard for me. But you were absolutely lovely. I cannot wait to have you back on.
Thank you.
And I'm glad I got you emotional because I really truly saw where like your heart is, because when you started talking about your app and how much you want to help other women, and also you are so motivated to raise your daughters as strong, independent women, and you're just a really good example of that.
Thank
and I truly mean that.
Well, so are you. It's
lovely.
So nice to be surrounded by women who are powerful and strong. I know, I'm not wearing my tank top. I love it.
I think you are so sweet, and I can't wait to have you back on.
Me too. We'll have to get a workout in next time.
Yes, we'll do it on camera.
Woo!
All right, bye, guys.
Thank you.